Bada bing, bada boom. We are back. Thank you for joining us today. It's Roll for Mischief time. You're hanging with your favorite nerds, as I like to say. The name of the game is Volohin, Winds of War. The name of this episode, episode 16, is Supernova, being dungeon mastered by our good friend Carrie over there, right there. And when we last left our characters, they were getting a series of visions that were pretty much bringing back right in front of their faces, bringing back all of the most traumatic moments of their pasts. Um, for the world to see, for all of us to see and witness. Really awesome, really great. We just finished with traumatizing Leah. Um,
Are we
a lot.
finished
Or wait,
though?
are we finished though? I don't know. Let's find out. Take it away, Carrie.
Okay. So you stepped out of the scene sort of dissolved around you, and you're left on this black sea that still seems to stretch on forever. It's still in darkness. Um, there's silence, and you keep walking, I presume.
Yep.
You,
Yep.
walk. You walk for a little bit longer, for another minute or two, and then there's laughter. I've been distracted. There's laughter that rings out across this cavern, which is like a stark contrast to like what's gone before. Although you saw like young Leah sort of like singing and laughing and stuff, it didn't like echo across this whole area.
Did this go? I might have been not paying attention. Did we go out of Leah's vision and back
Yeah.
into like the blackness? Okay.
Yeah.
So in response to the laughter, Eridu will just put his head in his hands and, what fresh hell is this?
Hey.
Um, the laughter is the female laughing. And then you see a group of, I don't know if you would necessarily know what they are. They're women, but they kind of look a bit like tree-like and plant-like.
Like dryads?
Yeah, but I don't know how
Oh.
much like the
I mean-
group would know what they are.
Eridu would instinctively know that they're dryads, but that's more because like ticks in his mind would just kind of translate.
And I think we encountered. Yeah. Never mind. Go on.
They're like running together, and you can see them like skipping and jumping across this seascape. And they are like stunning. They have like leaves and flowers trail behind them, dropping in the water and sort of like floating and shimmering there. They're sort of calling behind them as if they're like trying to encourage you to follow them. And Erida, you feel something start to stir inside you, and you start to feel an intense anger building up inside you.
Mm-hmm. So as it's happening, like Eridu's, my skin is hardening, and I haven't let go of Leah's hand, and she can feel the flesh of his palm just almost turn to wood, these deep creases in it, and Agner can just smell the scent of like rotten, mildewy mushrooms.
I love it.
Leo will clutch Eridu's his hand back, and say, "Don't let it win," because she obviously can tell that this is a Tix thing.
Wisdom saving roll.
Egner, just a little thing is that Egner won't necessarily recognize that it's Eridu like manifesting ticks at all. He will just make some kind of snide remark like, "God, Eridu, what did you eat? Ugh, ugh."
Eridu lets go of Leah's hands
This
and
is
is
what
like,
Eric ate.
yeah, exactly, and is clenched his fist, his jaw is set, but the bark skin is going down a bit. No, you do not have control here.
These
But
women. Oh,
it's
sorry.
still like it's not completely gone. Like there's still a lot of this like tixiness left over.
Um, yeah, these women like skip away, like laughing and calling and sort of beckoning to you guys, but they seem to be looking directly at Eridu. And they disappear into a like small grove of trees that seems to have sort of grown up out of the sea, but it's all kind of like still black and dark. It's like a forest at night, essentially. And you see them disappear into these trees. They're almost like it's like someone has cast like fairy fire on them. They've got like you can see their outline glowing, and as they disappear, uh, however, as you kind of keep moving towards it, and with Eridu sort of like regaining control within himself, um, a wall starts to lift out of this sea. And in the wall is a door. And this door is immediately recognizable to Eridu and Leah. This is the door to your father's dining hall from your childhood, like your childhood home.
Dun dun dun.
Nothing good was ever on the other side of this door. Damn it.
This war hell or my?
I believe that our hells are too intertwined to know for sure.
Eridu, Leah, where are we? What's going
We
on?
are standing outside the dining hall of our childhood home, fortress. I don't know. Whatever Egrian valued.
Oh, we're gonna see him again? Great. Great. Yeah. You know, I almost expected it. You know, all the other terrible shit that's been going down. Of course this guy's gonna walk back into our fucking lives right now.
Well, lucky for you, you won't see much at all.
Well, true. Very true.
Small crises.
Eridu will tentatively, put a hand out to open the door, since it probably is the way to go.
The door pushes open, and you find yourself in a huge dining hall. And you can see at the far end of the room a small elven girl standing with her head bowed, her hands clasped behind her back. You can see that from that close, you can see that her fingernails are digging into the skin of her hands while she holds them. Her hair is pulled back into a long braid, showing her pointed elven ears. You can only see the back of her. And then you see Egrian standing over her, looking way younger than the last time that you guys saw him, and then in like peak condition, physical condition. Do you want to react to this scene?
I think Eridu will, he'll just kind of take a few steps closer, seeing what's going on, and then remembering the scene, instinctively look just a little bit to his left by the doorway. Does he see something familiar? Someone familiar?
Yes, you see the younger version of yourself.
All right. Eridu will just like take it, gasp in surprise, or rather more in frustration, but expectation. What happens next? I will react, I'm sure.
The man, Adrian, standing over this girl who is a child, Leah. He points a finger directly in her face, but he doesn't shout. His voice is sort of measured and low, but there's this just power behind it. And he. Okay. I thought someone was going to say something.
No, you're good.
Okay. He says, "Who told you to go there?" The girl stays silent. Leah stays silent. "I told you to stay here. I told you you do not leave your room, but you can't follow a simple instruction, can you?" She stays silent. Both Leah and Eridu remember this conversation exactly. Because of your ineptitude, 3 men died this afternoon. 3. Are you happy? Silence. You could have saved them, spared their lives by simply staying in your room, but you can't even manage that. I allow you to live under my roof. I allow you to eat my food. Keeping you in this house is an expense on not just our treasuries, but on my patience. I keep you here because your mother asked me to. I gave you my name because your mother wanted it. You do not deserve any of these things, even more so if you cannot follow the simplest of instructions. You continue to give me reason to believe there is 0 use to you, and you know what happens to those I have no use for, don't you?
About this time is when Eridu just starts forward, but he doesn't go towards the door. He goes towards the young Eridu and screams, "Get up, you coward! Don't you know what happens next? Why would you let this happen to her? Oh, damn you!" And he pulls out his own dagger and reaches for himself.
Okay. Reaching out through the lantern light to try and grab hold of yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You reach out and take hold, and at first it feels like cloth of clothes, but then it kind of pulls away as this sludgy gel stuff that you were sinking into before.
Ooh. What are the rest of you doing?
Eridu, don't. It's not worth it to relive this. I know the person you are now. Try to remember that.
I yank my hand back and spin, fixing Leah in my gaze. Look at him. He's a worthless, foolish coward, sitting there letting that man talk to you like that, not being able to stand up against him.
He's a
What
child.
kind of child still have value? Children can still make choices. They can still do the right thing. And it's uncanny how similar the tone of Eridu's voice is to Egrian's.
Heyo.
Leah will take both of Eridu's hands and say, you would never hold anything I did at this age against me. Agrian is tormenting me for failing to live up to his values when I'm just a child. Please have the same gentleness for yourself that you wish Agrian had for me. Please forgive your child self. I know I have.
This was the time. I sat there and all I wanted to do was to tell him how wrong he was, to pull him away from you, to save you in that moment, and I thought of it, and I didn't do anything, and I continued for the next 100 years, just not doing anything at all. Well, Agrian spoke to you like that. Well, he laid the guilt of our mother on you. And everything else. Even my mistakes, he put them on you somehow. I don't believe I've ever gotten to a point where I can stand up and face that man and put him in his place. Because Sometimes I'm still this child, quivering behind this door, staring at my father while he belittles my sister.
Leah doesn't actually have a response for Eridu at that point, but she does attempt to put her arms around him and just try to express in some way that, like, she knows it's not all right, but it's still, like, she still loves him.
Egner still has a splitting headache and a raucous fucking hangover, by the way. So he was standing right next to Eridu when Eridu unleashed with emotion and yelling, and that causes Egner to immediately cover both of his ears and grunt in pain. Loud noises, loud noises. And then when there's a break in the conversation and Leah and Eridu start hugging, Agner, still holding his ears, says, "Eridu, I know it's dramatic, I know it is, but just remember, it's not real. It's all some fucking illusion, all some kind of ploy. They want to get this reaction out of you, Eridu. Look, my fucking head. Look, we can get out of here, and you can deal with your emotions. We can all deal with our shit, but we just got to get out of here."
Um, as Leah is holding Eridu, a soft chuckle begins to come out of him. His body just racks in laughter, but the chuckle isn't Eridu's, and the voice that follows isn't either. So, you understand now, don't you, Eridu? We are the same, you and I. We both lack something. Funny. I didn't know that when you took me in.
This is like while Leah is hugging Eridu. Creepy.
Tix, leave. This is no place for you.
Leah, I'm afraid I can't. I have been called out by this place too. I'm here just like you are. It's my hell as well.
Yeah, I suspected that with the dryads.
Oh.
But nonetheless, leave my brother alone.
Oh, your brother is gone. He's given me reign here. He can't bear to forgive himself. It's fine.
That is not true.
Oh, but it is. I know. I see the child in here, and he is huddled in a ball crying like a coward.
Shit. Soter, I think we're going to have to pause for a moment.
Well, as this kind of happens, Soter kind of turns round for the first time in a very long time, several layers of hell, as it seems, and just turns to Leah and goes, "What was that?"
An archfey.
An archfey?
Yes.
But how?
I don't know. But Eridu essentially consumed him. I think in an effort to try to save everyone, although it was misinformed. Tix is the reason that Eridu looks the way that he does now. And apparently, Tix is now in control.
What kind of... This is just... It's not good. What kind of creature is this Tix? Is he going to cause us any issues, because let's face it, we can't deal with anything else untoward happening.
At this
I,
point, Agner will step in and he'll say, "Look, I've seen Tix at his full amount of power. He's an incredibly large, powerful creature, and I don't quite understand him at all. But I think we have less reason to worry because he is contained within Eridu. I believe that Tix's powers are greatly reduced. We just got to find some way of snapping Eridu out of this. Look, I think that we are in far greater danger due to our current whereabouts within hell. Did I get that right? We're in hell right now, Soter? Is that where we are?
Well, that's where I said we were, but according to you, we're in an illusion.
Well, no. Well, I mean, look, it's complicated, and the whole thing could be an illusion, or just what we're seeing is an illusion. The ISCB works in mysterious ways, but I'm becoming more convinced that we're actually where you say we are, but we're seeing things that are not real. I know I'm not really making a lot of sense right now, but what I'm trying to say is I think that the fact that we're in hell is a bigger deal than whatever's going on with Eridu right now, even though it is
Well-
very creepy.
well, while Agner is talking, Leah's going to attempt to do the thing that she did back in the Feywild the first time, right immediately after Eridu ate Tix. And she's she's going to try to use that the like emotional connection that she has to Eridu to basically go into his psyche and look for that little boy that is hiding away. Which is, it's not really a spell, but it's a thing that she did before, and she's going to attempt to do it again.
Okay. Cool.
Sorry, Carrie.
All right. Yeah, no, it's fine, it's fine. All right. So, describe it. How are you doing this?
You want me to describe the scene?
Yeah, if you probably do it better than me.
Yeah. How is Ellie? Is this through Char's connection that she's? Okay.
No, well, I mean, I don't think it's Char's connection. Or maybe it is, but it's just and stop looking excited, Matthew. It is. She's basically. It's almost like she's tugging on the emotional bonds between them to get inside of Eridu's emotions. In like the place where she saw everything in the boxes that he put them in, and then the thing that he was keeping Tix in.
All right. So when you like reach out to kind of connect with Eridu's mind, the scene in front of you, it's doubled in Eridu's mind, except you are standing where Child Leo stood.
Mm-hmm.
Or rather, you're kneeling because standing above you, but he's also 10 feet tall or whatever, is Tix. His joints and fingers wrapped in their bony wooden knots. His face is almost expressionless and very non-humanoid looking down on you. And you can see behind you the doorway and a little child Eridu peeking out of it. And Tix looks at you and says, "And what do you want, worthless child?"
I want my brother back.
"No, you can't have him. I'm sorry."
She will stand up, turn her back on Tix, and go toward the small child in the corner.
He will attempt to reach out. You'll feel a gust of wind kind of wish across your back, but his claws make no contact. "You can't do this, Eridu."
What's that?
And
What did you say?
he just says, "You can't do this, Eridu."
Leah will look over her shoulder and say, "I'm not afraid of you." there are worse things in this world. And she will keep looking for Eridu.
Yep. With that, you're able to walk to the door. There, Eridu is like, kind of ducked back around and is sitting with his back up against the wall, still the same child. And he looks up at you, tears streaming down his face. He's too big. He's too scary. I can't do anything.
Leodin will kneel down beside you and say, I know how frightening he is. It's okay. You'll get...
Go ahead.
You'll do what you need to do when the time is right, when you are able to. I need you to come back. I need who you are now.
You know, when I felt big, when I felt brave, when I felt strong was when I was a bear. An impervious, furry, muscly creature of so much power, and I felt like nothing could stop me then. Maybe if I could connect to that part again, maybe if I could become Beardo again,
Yes.
then Tix will be nothing. Just be little tiny ant that I can just step on and squash.
I think that the bear's strength is a part of you, but it's not the only kind of strength there is, Eridu. I think that you have your whole self, and that is strong, and I need you to come back. I need that part of you to come back.
Child Eridu is nodding, and yeah, I could do that. I'll take the strength of the bear, and then I'll tell Egri, and I'll tell him, you stay away from my little sister, you big mean bully. That's not right. You don't push children. You don't make them feel bad with your words. That's what I'll do. And if he does anything, I'll use my big bear claws, and I'll scratch him. I'll scratch him across the stupid face. And he'll cry. He'll cry like he made you cry.
No, Eridu. That's not the way to do it either. She's going to put both of her arms around him and say, just come back. Just come back, and it'll be you and me again against whatever things we have to face. And you don't have to be a bear, you just have to be you.
And you hear Eridu's voice in your ear. Thank you, Leah. I'm sorry I couldn't do more for you when we were children.
We both carry a lot of guilt for what we... Go on. For who we were children. But it's not on either of us. It's on Agrian. Please remember that.
You're whispering in the ear of your brother. You are no longer inside of his mental projection of the world. And he says, yes, I think we both need to find a way to forgive ourselves and to forgive him.
Well, I'm with you on the first thing, maybe not the second. So Eridu is back.
Mm-hmm.
No more ticks?
Yep. No more obvious ticks. Of course, there's still the traces of the Feylord.
Right.
Thank you, Carrie. That was nice of you to give me a moment to DM.
Hey, I'm sorry. Can I butt in? While they were in that whole kind of thing, doing their thing, can I have been talking with Soter?
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, I kind of had it, but Leah was like basically rolled her eyes and threw up her hands and did the thing while you were yelling about how we just needed to keep moving.
Oh, word.
You can still talk to it. So I will say that, like, while this is happening, there is still Egrin and Leah at the end of the dining hall, and he's still, like, basically going on and on. It's like a like constant stream of essentially insults, but like not like, you know.
Wait,
they're,
wait.
like, subtle.
Is this where we get to see where Leah and Eridu get their tendencies to rant?
I mean,
Sure, yeah, sure.
Agrian gives his great villain child emotional abusive monologue. Oh,
Uh,
that's where we learned it.
for sure. So,
but yeah.
so while all this is going on, Agner will step close to Soter and lower his voice and try and have a more like intimate one-on-one conversation, and he'll say, "Soter, for what it's worth, I'm sorry that you had to see all of this. You know, um, we got to see your shit, but you had to witness a whole lot more shit than we had to witness. And yeah, I don't know what else to say other than I'm sorry you had to see it, and I hope it doesn't change your perception of who we are, how reliable we are, because I mean we're here in hell together. We're gonna get through this together."
Well, if it's any consolation, Eigner, I'm sorry for dragging you all with me.
I
None of this would happen if I didn't try and get you guys to come with me. And between you and me, I've never been able to see anybody else's visions, as you like to call them, or illusions. Every time I've ever come down here, it's always been my own. It's not been. I mean, this is the first time I saw what I did, but I've never. There's something different this time round, and for a group of people who, however you want to say, blindly followed someone they had met minutes before into the plains of hell, there is literally nothing you could do which would make me feel any disregard towards any of you. I feel like that's a knowing laugh, but seriously.
No, I wasn't laughing. What are you talking about? Egner just nods, grunts in appreciation, and will say, "Yeah, I hear ya. Sounds like we're square, Soter. All we need to do is get through this alive."
I've done it before. I'm sure we can do it again.
Just don't run off with the lantern again, okay? That was shitty. That was really shitty.
It caught me by surprise.
Oh, okay.
That's all.
All right. Okay. Good. Now let's see if we can get the two of them back
Yes.
with us.
Let's do it. And with that, Soter have Eridu and Leah finished their little
Yeah.
heart to heart.
Mhm.
I turn round and I go, "Let's go." And Soter casts Minor Illusion, and hearkening back to an early encounter, whispers in Eridu's ear. Don't worry about who you were. You're not that person anymore. You have so much care and love toward your sister. You aren't that person anymore. And I never said this to you. Thank you for dinner. And I never said this. I'm going to say I'm not going to admit that I ever said this, but possibly, you might be able to take me in a fight. And with that, he just marches full speed and makes a pointed effort to like try and shield his vision of what's going on around him in kind of like a way that tries to instill hope to the rest of the party that we can get through this if we don't look at all of the shit that's happening around us.
Oh, that's brilliant.
Respond.
So I do have a question though, because Leah's head was probably still fairly close to Eridu's because she was, previously embracing him and inside of his head. Did she hear any of those whispers?
I think you can't cast message, right?
It was only minor illusion, so I just whispered.
Okay.
And
I mean, she can pretend she didn't hear it if she did hear it, but
Perception check. Should we do it on a perception check?
Oh, there we go. Let's do that.
Roll some dice tonight,
I'm gonna roll some dice.
We should roll a
Did
few
it better
dice
earlier.
tonight,
I got a nat 20.
Okay, yeah.
Nice.
Leah hears the whole thing.
She says nothing. But she is full of emotions, so she does have like a very like there's just suddenly a flooding of warmth directed at Soter, but he might not feel that because there's been maybe some evidence that perhaps he doesn't feel her emotions, but she'll still say nothing.
I think that. So I rolled a roll too. I got a sleight of hand of 25, and I don't know at what point it'll come up, but at some point, when it seems plausible, Eridu will have written Soter a note and slipped it into his bag.
Is that his number? Because
It may well be. I will put the note in the chat, and then we'll all.
Okay.
Ooh, interesting.
all right. So
Not
As-
in Twitch chat. Sorry, you guys.
gotta keep some secrets, right?
True.
So, okay. As this all kind of like comes to a close, this little moment, as Soter turns to start like marching off, but remembering that everyone else does kind of need to be moving with him. You hear the tail end of the conversation that had been, well, not conversation, but that had been going on at the end of the dining hall. You hear Adrian say, "Get out of my sight, you're a waste of my breath." And then the girl, Leah, turns and runs up the corridor towards the group. You all see her coming towards you, and past you, and kind of like turning to watch her go past. You see that like her face is like streaked with tears, and you turn to look at the Eridu that is still stood by the door. He has his head like turned away and down slightly, so he's not looking at her. But you all see as Leah kind of hesitates slightly at the door and looks at her brother, there's a slight smile on her face of like it's like a sympathy, like it's like Leah is giving Eridu sympathy before leaving. But Eridu, you realise you never saw that look because you didn't even look at her as she left the room. And then you hear from behind, the scene seems to change slightly, and you can hear wind now behind you. And then you hear Adrian's voice again, saying, "Believe me, Leah, you're not going to want to miss this. The destruction is not purely once over. Yes, the buildings will be destroyed, the people will be killed, but the land itself scorched, scarred, the barrier between realms broken. Just imagine all manner of spirits and monsters able to move freely back and forth, terrorizing whatever remains. Unbalanced as this area will be, it means a being of power can easily take control, taking over an existing city. You got government, people to fight." Putting all the wrong inflections on it. "Taking over a city, you've got government, people to fight. Their willpower can be strong. We've learned this. It's easier to wipe the slate clean. then strike terror into those that remain. You feel a deep sadness wash over you, and it's followed by rage. And then a scream rings out. You turn to see that you're stood on the rooftops of Twin Harbour. You can actually see Twin Harbour stretching out in front of you. And you see Adrian stood on this rooftop in front of all of you. You don't see anyone else, but he's looking directly at you. Yeah, and this scream sort of blasts out around you, and then Adrian cripples, falls to his knees, racked in pains, and his body starts to contort. Writhing, he flails and turns to look directly at Leah and starts to thrash on the floor, his face screwed up in intense pain. And then the scene fades away, and you're stood on this black, empty sea. However, the water seems to be draining. You can feel it. You can feel yourselves moving down. And after only like a couple of seconds, you are left on a bare cavern floor. It looks like, from the amount that the water went down, it looked like it wouldn't have gone past your ankles. But you now stand on stone. And in the middle of the room, there's a dip in the floor, like a small hole dip in the floor. Soter, you would know that this is what you've been looking for. Down here.
So Soter glances up at Bo, who has miraculously not really done much about anything. And I look at Bo and I go, are you sure this time?
It just sort of flitters in front of your face.
You said that last time. My back still hurts. Okay. And I just turn around to the group and I go, well, pray to whichever deities you deem necessary, because Bo thinks this is the right one. Come on. And I head towards the dip.
Egner, in response to that, just coughs nervously. Okay.
You head over to the dip, and it's like about enough, like big enough for you to fit through, kind of size circle. And it's got like a base to it. And so you know that you need to like push that. You need to push and slide essentially. So it's going to need some strength checks from whoever's doing it.
I'm no good for strength, but I can do an assist.
Wait, strength? What strength check?
I feel like Soter will probably just go in and try to give it a go, you know, pretend to be Butch and all that jazz, for no discernible reason.
Wait, do I need to make a strength check or something?
Just Soter for now.
Oh, okay.
To wit, he immediately pulls his back out.
Nice. Nice.
And just not in a very, noticeable way. He just kind of goes, and then just kind of steps up again, and he goes, and he kind of turns around and is just like, right, we need to push open this door. I quickly need to discuss something with Bo. Can one of you guys just, get this sorted, please? And then I kind of turn my back to the group. And start.
Of course, Agner. Let me lead you. I'll help.
Yeah. Just take me to the thing. Yeah.
Yes, of course. Yeah, that's the plan.
All right.
So I'll give Agner the assist. He can have advantage on this roll, but he's
Sick.
the big, strong, burly man.
All right. I'm using Old Blue, my trusty dice, and the sparkly
dude,
one.
I think I have the
and
same
the sparkly.
dice.
Okay. Wait, you have Old Blue? What are you talking
Well,
about?
I think I have a very similar style dice. I do not have your Old Blue.
My Old Blue is the Old Blue. Okay, anyways, roll in. Oh, shit, yeah. Alright, so I rolled a 17 and a 19. The 19 plus my 3 strength is 22.
Okay. So with Eridu's help, you push down on this like cap or whatever it seems to be that's here. And first of all, you push it, and light blasts through. Obviously, Agnes doesn't know this, but Eridu, like, it's almost like blinding. Like this light kind of like comes immediately through. And then as you kind of push down it again and start to push, to slide. Sorry, so you have to push and slide. You look down the hole, but it's a bit disorientating because you seem to be looking out at the sky as if you were laid on the floor, and you can see trees up but down because you're looking down the hole, so you can see like trees stretching down towards the sky beneath you.
Cool. So it's like the end of something.
As above, so below.
As above, yeah, as above, so below.
Yes, it is.
Such a good movie.
I mean, there was a theme to this whole section.
That's is that your inspiration for all this?
Yeah.
That's badass. Now, we all made it out alive though, so let's go.
It's true. Yeah. So you push it open. You get the impression that you have to like climb out through it. So after this is like familiar to you, this is how this usually happens.
So I just kind of turn around to everybody and so you've all made peace with your gods, and I kind of just jump.
It's an odd thing. You like as soon as you kind of like go past the edge of the hole, like gravity on the other side is like pushing down on you. So it's more like a scramble, climb, pulling yourself out in like an awkward, like graceful movement.
Okay. I do my best to try and graciously go through the hole.
Performance check? Performance check.
Oh, God. Right. I'm not using Soter's dice for this because it's not good. I'm using Stormtrooper White.
Nice.
That's my lucky one. I won this one from Kerry last year, Tabletop Scotland.
Aw.
This is my lucky dice.
That's sweet.
Oh god, it's gonna roll so bad now.
Yeah. Never buying a dice from Kerry again. Just bags.
Oh, shit.
The bags.
Oh, shit.
11.
I mean, average, right?
Could be worse. Could be better.
You climb out. It is a bit stumbly. Like you definitely don't look as graceful as you wanted to, and you kind of like you feel Eridu watching you climb out of this hole. But...
We can see up your robe.
That's why you bought me dinner.
But you scramble out and the right way up on the other side. What is everybody else doing?
Gracefully following.
Eridu's gonna like kind of nudge Leah before going over, and he's kind of cute in a very clumsy way.
Leah will smile.
Egner will ask for some kind of confirmation of like, wait, what are we doing? Okay, wait, we're going through here? Okay, that's fine.
So Soter, give him a hand. He's gonna have a hard time understanding exactly how this whole thing is gonna work.
Okay. So would Soter be able to kind of stick his hand through the hole and kind of drag Eigner up? So that's what I kind of do in, a proper manly style. Grasp forearms and tug.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Egner will give it a little like, whoa, as like the disorienting thing happens.
Alright, Agner makes it out.
Eridu will gesture for Leah.
Right, well, Leah's used to having no dignity, so she's just gonna kind of scramble and flail.
As Leah starts to climb her way out of the hole, there's a voice that echoes across the cabin. And it's Ellie's voice. It says, Please don't leave me here, Leah.
This fucking cabin really loves me, doesn't it?
Yes, better go quickly.
Yep.
You climb out, and you're on the other side.
Oh.
Just Eridu left.
Just Eridu left. Yeah, I'll just push my head through and aim to pull myself out like I'm pulling
You're
myself
gonna
out of
do,
a hole
like,
in the ground.
running monk thing. Just
I mean,
really show off how
I
you can just
could.
run through the.
Don't need to
think you
make
should.
Soter feel bad.
Oh.
I'm a man just like he is. I put my pants on one leg at a time, and then I go out and make $1 million.
Boring.
All right.
Exactly.
So, you have made your way back onto the material plane. You're back on grass. You can like feel the heat is gone. You feel the cold breeze of it's daytime now. I can't remember what time you set off, to be honest.
It probably doesn't matter.
No.
It was in the evening.
Pardon?
It was in the evening.
Okay.
Like,
So
it wasn't
yeah,
dark.
so it's like daytime now.
Everyone knows that Timey gets all whimy when you go through the hells.
So you're in the middle of a dense forest. The trees here are tall and thin with like silvery looking trunks, and it's very, very different to any of the sort of trees and stuff that's around Bronzewood Grove. But Soter, you know where you are. This is exactly where you're meant to go.
I turn and look at Bo and I go, "Oh, so you can get it right."
Turns around and starts flying off.
Excuse me. We're having a That's rude. I'm sorry. You kiss your mother with that mouth. Jeez. And I look around everyone and go, right, follow the flying moth. And we just start heading off in the direction of Bo.
All right. Bo leads you down it's not a long walk, and eventually you come to a clearing where you can see tents are set up. And as you kind of move through these tents, it starts to look more and more like almost like a small village. Like this has been like well set up. You can see that there are like little paths that lead off into other like areas of the forest, and you can see the outlines of tents over there with like lanterns hanging outside them. It looks like they're kind of spread out in this forest land. As you get closer and closer to sort of the center, you can see that there are the beginnings of more like permanent structures that are starting to be built, but they're like very, very early stages of them. Every single person that you pass, you see people sat outside tents. You see groups of kids sort of running around together. You see like a couple of older people sort of sat outside their tents talking to each other. They're all tieflings. Every single person that you see there are tieflings. Soter, you know that this little camp, you've got your own tent here, so like this is where your little home base is. You know that most of these tents are other people's like homes essentially at the minute. You know that there is a like medical area. There's like a school orphanage style tent where like all of the kids that basically don't have parents anymore for one reason or another stay. And you also know that there is the like main tent where all of like the kind of leaders of this group go. By this point, once you've got into the like little camp, Bo just kind of like flutters back and just sort of like hovers by your head and then lets you take the lead.
I'm so glad you remembered about me, Bo. And as we're walking in, I just say, "Well, welcome home, guys. I told you this was all, well, I mean, it was a bit hurried, but yeah, this is who I am. This is what I do. This is tieflings trying to reclaim their identity. But I hope you guys don't mind, but I was in a bit of a hurry before, so we're gonna kind of head over to the big tent. I need to make sure everything's okay. And I just sort of start heading towards the main tent.
Sure, that's fine. I mean, do you want us to come with you, or should we stay here, or what should we do?
So Soter kind of, while he's walking away, does a quick spin round and goes, "The world is your oyster. You can come with me if you want, but feel free to go. There, it's good people here. If you want to go have a look and talk, we've got medical facilities. We've got lots of stuff. But
Where can I get a drink?
Try and find some of the older members of the community. They know what's good to take from places.
All right.
None of these soft toy things.
All right. Well, at that, Egner will try and go find some older tieflings and ask where can a man get a drink around this camp here?
God.
What's Leah doing?
Well, I was kind of going to base what she did on what Eridu does, but we lost Asa.
Well, in that case, we'll wait for Asa to come back then, and I'll have Agner kind of go off and
There we go.
some tieflings. So Agner kind of like you break away from the group on this. Like you need a drink.
Oh yeah.
And you kind of like take a look around, and there are actually quite a few like older people that pretty nearby actually. So like heading over to a couple of like older men who are sat together outside one of their tents. They seem to be like mid conversation, but it's like they're like laughing and joking about stuff. What do you want to do?
Hello there, gentlemen. My name's Egner. I'm here with a friend of yours, Soter. Do you know him?
Yeah, we know him.
Yeah.
Hi.
Yeah, he is a good guy. He is a good guy. Yeah, I was just wondering where could I get a drink around here? We just took a little trip through hell and saw some ghosts, so to speak, and I could really use a drink right now.
Their eyebrows raise and they kind of look at each other and then laugh and then say, "Yeah, definitely one of Soter's friends. All right, well, go down to that tent over there," and he points in a direction. They'll probably be able to spare you a bottle or something, I imagine. You're doing all right at the minute.
I have coin. Absolutely able to pay for a stiff drink.
Yeah, head on down there. Should be able to help you out.
No, Egner, he said this way. You're going the wrong direction.
Oh yes. Okay, thank you. And then Egner will head in the correct direction.
Eridu will lead him in the correct direction. That's what Eridu has chosen to do, is to be Agner's eyes while he stumbles around a place he's not familiar with.
Okay.
Word.
So in that case, what is Leia doing if Eridu is kind of going with Agner?
I think that she actually is going to try to find a place where that would be out of the way of anyone else and just sit down for a minute and try to just collect herself. 'Cause she's gone through some stuff and she can't drink it away. So instead she's just going to try and chill for a minute.
You find a bench. There seem to be a sort of like, I say bench, it's like a log. They seem to they've put out like, it does look kind of like a village. They seem to have been putting even like the small, like bits of decoration and stuff. They've kind of dressed up some of the trees to look like, a sort of square area. So you find somewhere to sit down that's kind of away from other people. While you're sat there, a couple of groups of tiefling children sort of run past you, like laughing and shouting at each other. They seem pretty happy.
So then Leah just sits there with her head in her hands, basically, just kind of, yeah.
You maybe wouldn't notice, but after a very short amount of time, people start giving you a kind of a wider berth, like you know that you're probably radiating feelings right now.
Yeah.
Okay, so Agna and Eridu, you make your way to this like little kind of, it's not like a tavern, but they're kind of set up where it's where sort of the rations are kind of given out to people. And you make your way in. There's a guy in there. No, there's a guy and a woman in there who are kind of like going through notes, ticking things off while they kind of organize what's in there. You are able to get a bottle of a spirit from them. They don't make you pay for it. Once you say that you're one of Soter's friends, they just give you one of the bottles.
Oh.
And kind
There
of
you
like as if they're unsurprised that someone who arrived with Soter is looking for a drink. So it's almost like an eye roll.
Yeah, I got the feeling that we weren't the first ones to go through this shit.
Yeah, there seems to be a reputation there.
For sure. Well, Egner will take the bottle graciously. He will say thank you very much to the folks, and he'll still leave a tip of like 2 gold or something. Like he'll just like he won't take no for an answer. Like at least boom, gonna take 2 gold, and then he'll say, look, Eridu, is there like a log around here or something that we can just take a sit down for a second?
Of course. Do we need to be alone? Or do you want to be around people?
Look, I don't know. I don't care. Actually, yeah, let's just go be alone for a second. I need to take a minute here.
Yeah, we'll find a couple of stumps or something, a little bit away from where there's less travel.
Mm-hmm. Egner will take a big sit down, sigh. He'll uncork the bottle and take one huge swig and then pass it over in Eridu's direction. Eh?
No, I'm quite alright, but thank you.
Alright, okay. He'll take another swig, sit for just a moment in silence, and then he'll say, yeah, it was a real shock hearing Greta's voice. A real fucking shock. Tell you what. Look, Eridu, I'm really, really sorry you had to see that again. I'm sorry that everyone had to see it, but it's you've known about this longer than anyone. You've known my greatest shame, and I just feel like sometimes you take the burden of knowing too seriously. I think you take on too much for me.
I am strong, Agner. I can handle a lot. I take on burdens that I feel I'm capable of. But perhaps I weaken those around me by taking on their burdens. I've never thought about that until recently.
I'm not sure if I'd think about it in quite that way. I still feel kind of strong myself, I guess, but I mean, I'll just come out and say it. I'm a little worried about you. Just a little bit worried. I know I made this big speech earlier trying to convince everyone that Tix is not a threat because he's not in his original form or whatever bullshit it was that I said, but I'm worried, Eridu. The creature that you have inside of you, he's unlike anything else I'd ever witnessed.
Yes. You're right to be worried. he always is whispering, and sometimes I can shut him out, sometimes I can't. Until we know what to do. But this is my life now.
Eridu, I'm going to tell you this right now. I'm going to make a promise. I'm going to make a promise to you right now. I'm going to find a way to kick that motherfucker out of your head. Because I know what it's like to be a puppet. I do know. And I want to save you from that.
We did it with Zarkon. I have faith we can do it again.
Damn straight.
Thank you.
And Egner will take another big swig. I think I've had my moment. I mean, what do you think we go find Soter? Make sure he's not getting us into some kind of trouble or whatever.
I want to go speak with Leah. Will you be all right on your own?
Oh yeah,
This isn't
yeah.
a place you know.
Look, I'm fine. I can get around. I'm just fine.
All right. Don't go walking into a fire or something.
No. Come on. Who do you think I am? A child? I'm a grown ass man. I'm not gonna walk into a fire.
Right. Well, when we'll come find you in Soter.
All right. Eridu, I love you, man.
And Eridu will wrap Agner in his arms, and I love you too. I always have.
They'll have a good little hug, and then Egner will smack him really hard on the back and walk away without another word.
Yep. Once it starts to get too emotional, Agner's gotta put some testosterone into it.
Exactly. Yeah, good game. Whack!
Yep.
Alright. So we will go back to Soter then. You start making your way towards this like main tent. On your way, you kind of stuff your hands into your pockets and you find, I mean, there's not really been time, but it doesn't make sense otherwise, so I'm just going to do it now. You find a scrap of paper in your pocket.
I read the the note, and a small smile just creeps, sort of half smile, kind of creeps up his face as he reads it, and kind of just whispers to himself, well, I'm always on top, so we'll see about that.
I was gonna say, like, show your, like, a part of me wants us to not read it. I feel like that would be really
Keep
neat.
the mystery alive.
What you're saying. And so what do you want? Do you want us to read what it says?
I believe what just happened is perfect.
Love
No
it.
one will know. At least. Put it back in your pocket, and then you make your way into this tent. Inside, you've been in here plenty. I'm not on the right page, so that's going to help me. There are there are loads of different tables in here of like different tables and chairs and like a mishmash of styles, like they've just taken it from all over the place. And there's sheets on some of them. There's an attempt to make some of it look like attractive, but mostly there's just like sheets of paper everywhere. Inside there are 3 men and 1 woman. You know all of them. The woman, you know, all tieflings, I'll point out, but I feel like I don't need to say that here. The woman that you immediately focus your attention on is someone called Macaria, and she is like essentially the leader of this group. So although like you kind of started it, like she's the one who stays here and sort of organizes everything and kind of gives you most of your tasks. There is also a younger male tiefling who's kind of stood by her side. His name, I mean, you would know this. I'm just gonna give you this. His name is Fenris. He's like her right-hand man. There's a younger male tiefling who kind of seems to be like watching what they're doing. You know that he's like one of their trainees. His name is Chiron. And then there's an old male tiefling sat in a chair sort of in the corner, like grumbling about what they're doing. And he's called Mamnon. As you come into the room, Macaria looks up and her eyes widen. Soter! Oh, thank God. Where have you been?
Where have I been? Where haven't I been? That's for sure. Let's just say that Bo made a little mistake on re-entry to this plane. It was not fun.
I see. I mean, I won't claim to understand your comings and goings, but I'm glad you're back safe. Look, come sit down. I need to tell you about something.
What's happened?
She like pulls out a chair and gestures for you to sit at the table with all of the maps out.
Soter sits.
As you sit, she kind of moves around to the opposite side of the table and she kind of leans over on her like steepled fingers and looks down at the table for a minute, seeming to be like working out how to put this. She says, "Well, I've got another mission for you."
Okay.
Well, Soter, there's a girl in Tempest Hold. I believe she knows where Demir is.
She's still alive?
That's the word that I got, yes.
Who is this woman?
I don't have a name. She's been living in one of the noble households. I can give you that, though. I can give you the information of where the house is. She's in there, but she's not going to leave without her baby brother. And the noble family there, they seem to have taken him in as one of their own for some reason. But the girl, I believe she's a sorcerer. And that only means that most likely her baby brother is too. And you know what's going to happen when they find out. Doesn't matter that he's a baby. There's not going to be an exception. You need to get both of them out. You need to get both of them back here safely.
Okay. I need to find her. I can't believe she's still alive, but I need to find her. And it won't happen again. They're both coming this time.
I'll leave it there. I'll leave it on that. If you want it.
Slow clap. Slow clap. Yeah. Hell of a session this time around. Hell of a session. Thank
Literally.
you. Yeah. What fresh hell is this? Yeah, thank you so much for joining us on this very dramatic Tuesday afternoon. And if you want more of this good drama, then join us again next Tuesday afternoon, and we'll continue this story and see what other kind of shenanigans that Soter is going to get us into. Yeah, you guys. Yeah.
I think you say drama, but you really mean trauma.
Trauma is what I mean. Exactly. So, hey, you guys are the best. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.